Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University, well, actually not at the University of Virginia, back home in California, and producer Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game, is with us. Guys, it's amazing where Ziggy is right now. It has to be one of the most beautiful places in the world. He's sending us these pictures and videos of himself out on his balcony looking out the beach, and it's just like
Pasadena.
Man, it just looks awesome. It just looks.
This is not Pasadena, Jack.
It must be the California in him. He's growing a beard.
Does he have a little bit of beard going?
He's got a little beard, a little scruff. Look at him.
Ziggy, you look pretty good.
Ziggy, are you a surfer at all? I know your dad surfed, but when's the last time you went out?
I've never surfed.
Oh, never?
You like body surf?
You ever get the itch to do it?
No.
Honestly, I don't have an itch to do surfing. I don't like going out into the water, feet dangling.
I'm scared of the ocean, so I wouldn't go out super far anyway.
Yeah,
I think surfing is the only sport in the world where you're guaranteed to fall.
Yeah, I mean guaranteed, no matter what. Yeah, because snowboarding, you could have a good run.
I'm scared of sharks.
Oh no, me too.
I wouldn't go out.
That's a stupid reason to not surf.
I don't know.
Is it?
Happens.
Sharks are
what was it, Mick
close
Fanning, right? Didn't Mick Fanning get attacked by a shark? Remember that?
You ever seen that movie?
No, just like Sharknado. Or
No. It's based on a true
Jaws?
story.
Jaws?
Where the girl gets her arm bitten off.
Oh.
Right? Isn't that a true story?
Wait, the Blake Lively one? No, that's not Blake Lively.
Soul Surfer.
Soul Surfer. Good pull.
Yeah, Soul Surfer. Good pull from the audience over here.
From Jayden out here. I just have no desire out in the ocean. Whenever I'm at the beach, it's like, I'll go up to I like going up to like my knees. Maybe I'll go into like thighs area. And then after that, if I can't see the bottom, I'm not constantly thinking about it, but I'm definitely a little like skeptical.
You like getting on your knees?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, no. No, I like water. I like clear water where I can see the bottom. I just don't like being in any body of water where there's something that can eat me.
Where you don't see it, yes.
Or something that may want to eat me.
Yes.
And I'm not unaware of where it might be. Like that, I feel like that's a logical thing. Same thing with the way I mean, this is a little embarrassing, but same way I have a fear of lightning. I don't like being outside when there's an electrical surge coming from the clouds.
To the ground. There could always be something outside ready to kill you. Probably have coyotes in your neighborhood or something.
Yeah, but a coyote, I think, if a bolt of lightning hits me, I have no shot. I think if a coyote, and at least I have some self-defense, I can probably defend a coyote better than a lightning bolt.
Well, there would be no way to defend
left her speechless. That's the first time I ever left Ziggy speechless in my life.
Ziggy's like, all right, let's shut the hell up.
He's like, good enough. All right, so we have a fun show today. Really fun show planned. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA, actually, off the top. We have the PFF quarterback rankings that came out a little while ago. We got our eyes on that list, and there's a couple stories we want to talk about. Tom Brady allegedly made a big move about the quarterback, or at least played a big part in the quarterback decision for the Raiders. We'll tell you who the quarterback was that he turned down, it seems, for Vegas. A little later, Caleb Williams at Fanatics Fest this week in New York City. A lot of stars in New York this week. There always are, but in the sports world, a little more than usual at Fanatics Fest. Caleb Williams throwing some shots at the Green Bay Packers. We'll tell you what he said. And then at the end of the show, I actually have a good list for you guys that'll relate back to last week's show on Dynasties that I'm excited to see if you can guess. We'll get to all of that. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 20,000 by the start of the season. Slowly inching our way there. 20,000. I mean, it's a great number if we could get to it. And then we'll see where we go over the course of the year. Like producer Zach's smiling. He's just thinking about not having to wake up and go to work.
I gotta wake up at 1 a.m.
Yeah, Ziggy, Zach's been getting up at 1 a.m. for work.
Tomorrow, Zach?
Yeah, tomorrow too.
Oh,
Zach, I feel like your shifts, and you could go back and watch the show over the years. You've gone from, it's like, I gotta get up at 5:30. That's like, gotta be up at 3:30. And now we're moved to 1.
Are you just staying up, or are you going to bed at like 8?
I'll go to bed after the show. I gotta get something to eat and go to bed.
You're nocturnal.
Jeez.
You've become nocturnal, Zach.
I'll wake up to pee at like 2 a.m. Be like, Zach is.
But eventually, if this trend. Oh, yeah, no. This show, we've said this before, but now it's actually legit. This show currently has. You could reach out to this channel, and there will always be someone awake at all hours of the day. Because I'm up till 2. He's waking up at 1.
Yeah.
But I think that your trend is actually boding well for you in like another year, you're probably going to be starting work at.
When I end work.
Yeah. Yeah. like we're almost there. We're just slowly going back every couple months. You just move 2 hours back. So
Zach, you're looking pretty jacked too.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
Ziggy, there's been a lot of workout debates in our friend group lately, but we'll spare you that conversation. There's been some arguments about
Ziggy looks like he wants to get on with the show. So let's get on with the show.
All right, we're going to talk about football.
Oh, no, he's just frozen. Oh, no, he's just
frozen.
Oh.
Now he's back. Okay. I was like, wow, he is really locked in on it. Like, he looks miserable right
Ziggy,
now.
I wish you could have seen.
Oh, that's funny. All right, we're going to need Ziggy to unfreeze there. And at least now it's a happy face for Ziggy. There he goes. There he is. That's really funny.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the bandwidth for Ziggy's connection right now is just not where it needs to be. All right, he's back now.
I have no idea what's up here.
Oh, yeah, we'll do the best we can. So we're actually, the first thing we had was we just wanted to touch on the NBA playoffs for a second. So the finals is over. The Oklahoma City Thunder have won. Jack and I used to pull for the Thunder to a degree. We have Kevin Durant jerseys from when we were back in 6th grade.
I remember you copied me.
Oh, no. Ziggy, I got a Kevin Durant jersey.
I was kidding.
Move on. 2 days later, Jack comes into class with a blue phone and a Kevin Durant jersey. But anyway, we used to enjoy rooting for the Thunder. You would go watch Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant play when they were in the area. They get their first title in Oklahoma City, a 103-91 win in Game 7. Of course, the big news of this was the Tyrese Haliburton injury, which was really unfortunate to see. I had just gotten home, missed the first 8 minutes of the game, and it's just a flood of text this guy tore his Achilles. And it's just terrible to see that. I will say, one of the first thoughts that popped in my mind after thinking okay, I felt horrible for Haliburton. It was just so sad seeing him. Did you see the replay, Jack, of him on the ground?
I saw it happen. I was watching the whole game.
As soon as he falls, you just see him screaming, no. I mean, that's not supposed to happen.
Hitting the floor, he's crying.
Yeah, after the year that he had. I don't know, Ziggy, were you rooting for the Pacers or Thunder last night?
Yeah, I was rooting for the Pacers.
I found myself, as a Knicks fan, and Zach, I'm curious if you were in the same spot. I've been rooting against the Pacers the whole time because, the choke sign from Haliburton and the rivalry. But when he went down, I actually sort of found myself rooting for Indiana just because of the way it all fell apart there.
I'm at OKC minus 7.5.
Yeah, so you had your
for them, but it was definitely upsetting to see him go down like that.
I have to say, my brain went to, wow, the door is wide open for the Knicks in 2025 now, 2025, 2026, with no Tatum, no Haliburton, Lillard hurt. It's this is the door's wide open for the Cavs or the Knicks to step through. There's a lot of pressure on these two teams to get to the finals next year because no one they are the top dogs, and I'm not excited. I don't get excited over injuries. They're a horrible part of the sports, but as a Knicks fan, I will say, the opportunity's right there.
100%. Yeah.
What do you think was worse, the pain or him knowing?
That
it was just
knowing.
over.
I think that's
him knowing.
I think that's what the screaming was.
The same with Tatum, right? Tatum knew and was it's it.
An injury like that
this
too
was Game 7 of the finals as well.
And now you're out for 2 years. You lost 2 chances to win the finals.
Yeah. It was knowing that that was it.
Oh yeah, I think that's what he looked like he was obviously in a lot of pain, but I thought that the reaction of no is are you kidding me right now? In this moment, that's the biggest game he'll play in his entire life. You can't have a bigger game unless he's in another Game 7, and I can't imagine just how frustrating that must be. If I were in the NBA, and especially coming out hitting he hit 3 of his first 4 threes
in the first
deep threes.
Yeah,
he hit 3 really deep threes and. There was a chance last night where Tyrese Haliburton had an all-time. We're recording on Monday night, so when this comes out, it'll be 2 days. But there was a chance Tyrese Haliburton was on track to having one of the greatest Game 7 performances ever. When you start off like that,
it started looking like it.
That's in play, and he typically doesn't start games off very well. To come out like that, especially with the injury he had, the way that your legacy, and we've been talking legacy a lot, but the way that you're remembered changes a lot. It's insane how quick it could happen in sports. I just felt horrible for Haliburton.
I mean, if he is an all-time game, he goes down remembered as one of the greatest runs in the history of the NBA.
Oh yeah, but for a team and individual player.
The crazy, unfortunate thing is he had the game winner on the road in Cleveland, a game winner on the road in the Garden, a game winner on the road in Oklahoma City, a historic playoffs. And everyone will talk about how he got hurt in Game 7, which is the unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I
narrative.
think that everyone will talk about the game winners, the four of them.
But he had one of the best playoffs ever.
Yeah, I think everyone will talk about the 4 game winners, but now you have to add on to the end of that. Oh, but it sucks that he got hurt in Game 7.
Yeah,
and that's where if you're a Pacers fan, Like Ziggy, we know as Vikings fans, losing these kinds of games are just brutal. But it almost becomes worse when you have that what if factor where they, the Thunder, if they went and just beat them by 20, and I don't think they would have if Haliburton was healthy. Thunder just beat them by 20. Haliburton's fine. You're like, it sucked. We were on the road. They were a great team. Now in the back of your mind, you're always going to, especially the way you started. It's like Purdy. Remember when Purdy went to Philly?
Yeah, they still had a lead at the half.
Towards UCL. They had a lead at the half. Like those are the kind of games where you just go like, man, it's like it feels like you were robbed. And it felt like we were robbed as fans last night from the game felt over the moment he did that, even after
you had
the
halftime
feeling.
Lead. Yeah, you had the feeling.
Yeah, it was insurmountable to come back from that. And you saw Obi Toppin actually came out. Did you see what he said in his post-game interview? He was like, after Tyrese got hurt, not everyone quit, obviously. He's like, but I was out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a really honest thing of Obi to say, but kind of crazy too. Like game 7, you have to find a way. And that's how impactful Haliburton was. Okay, so the image in my head of Purdy in that Eagles game after he went down is I'll never forget McCaffrey when they finally tried to throw the football. And McCaffrey just threw up this like lame duck left-handed throw. It was just horrendous. Last thing about basketball here before we move on to our bread and butter is I've been listening to all of the shows today, First Take and McAfee and everything, and everyone's given their applause to OKC, but immediately we're throwing around the word dynasty again. And
with the Thunder?
The Thunder, yeah. Oh, dude, that's all everyone's talking about is how many can this team win?
They won one finals.
I know, but that's
who's saying that?
You turn on any program and it's saying, oh, the Thunder can be a dynasty. The Thunder have the best chance of any of these champions. And I'm just kind of getting, I'm not tired of it because I know that that's the industry we're in is you're trying to find things to talk about and you're always trying to build into a bigger role for these teams. But it's also, over the past 7 years now, we haven't had back-to-back champions in the NBA. It's the longest drought since 2003 to 2009 before Kobe and the Lakers did it. And it's just like before we talk dynasty, you got to win 2.
I think also this term dynasty is just so loosely thrown around.
It is now.
A dynasty is like Tom Brady Patriots, and I'd say the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, well, we talked about this on the last show, and I was saying I think it's 3. I think you need 3, and I think you have a 5. If you win 3 within 5 years, to me, that's officially a dynasty.
I'll give you 3 and 6, or even 3 and 7 if you're competitive.
Sure.
You've got to win 3 titles, I think.
And the Thunder also aren't a sure thing to go and win the West again.
That's what people are saying is SGA is 26 and Jalen Williams is 24, Chet's 23, and
yeah, but you've got the NBA's new competitive, like their new CBA. The whole point of it is that you can't build dynasties.
No, I know.
Thunder can't keep all 3 of those guys. It's not possible.
Well, even if they do, I'm just watching these talk shows consistently going like, all right, like, could we have a dynasty? I'm saying, come on. We said the same thing about Denver, the same thing about the Celtics. I thought both of those teams were actually better equipped to have a dynasty. I know the Thunder defensively were unbelievable and all the metrics point to one of the best defenses ever, but they went to 2 Game 7s in this run. And I still don't think I like SGA a lot. He deserved the MVP, but would SGA make most people's top 3 guys they'd start a team with to win a championship next year?
Probably.
Maybe.
He should.
Like, Jokic will be in there for sure.
Anthony Edwards.
No, not Ant, but I mean, some people would take Giannis, some people would take Luka. Like, the point I'm trying to make is, regardless, he might be number 2, is you don't have the best player in the league in most people's eyes. And the Celtics were loaded top to bottom. The Nuggets had the best player. And the Thunder are just really good to me and have a great defense. But I didn't think at any point, I know we're not a basketball show, but at any point watching OKC this year, I was never like, oh yeah, they are by far the best team in the league. And maybe I'm wrong for that, but
I mean, I had that feeling when they won like 60 games by double digits in the regular season.
No, they're a great team, but I never got the feeling like, oh, this is a dynasty here.
Right, there's a million great teams who do it for a year or two, but the dynasties are it's thrown around loosely.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, if they come in next year and go crazy and win 70 games, then the conversation completely shifts. It's way too early.
They have to give up on the whole team because they can't put 3 guys on supermax deals.
Yeah, fair enough.
The new collective bargaining agreement in the NBA makes it basically impossible to be a dynasty. It is what it is.
So what we're going to get into now is we're going to jump over to Pro Football Focus did a ranking of all the position groups in the NFL. And they're fun reads. We love rankings on this show. I don't know how people can't enjoy rankings.
Everyone loves rankings.
Yeah, rank anything.
It can't be worse than the ESPN running back of the quarter century.
Oh, yeah, Jack, you missed that. For 10 seconds, Jack, ESPN did the quarter century team, and the running backs were Priest, Holmes, McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. And they left off Peterson and LaDainian Tomlinson. I was furious.
Was Priest Holmes the chief?
Yeah, he was the chief.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 great years. But they said his peak was better than
I'm surprised that Peterson wasn't really. No, Peterson?
I was furious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then Adrian was in the news for some
what about Le'Veon Bell?
Gambling fight. And Le'Veon Bell was awesome. Not on that list, but Le'Veon Bell, there was a while in fantasy where me and you would go back and forth whether Bell or Peterson was the right pick.
Oh, yeah.
So here's how the PFF ranking worked. They tiered the quarterbacks. I think it'll be kind of fun to just quickly run through the tiers, say what we agree and disagree with. Their first tier was the elite quarterbacks in the league. 4 quarterbacks. It could be fun to have producer Zach try and guess who the quarterbacks were, but I mean, surely he can do.
I don't know if he could name more than 4 quarterbacks.
When you hear it's the elite 4,
yes.
you know what 4.
So the order they did it though.
Jalen Hurts better be in the top 4.
Oh, we'll get there. The elite 4 was 1 Patrick Mahomes. It was 2 Joe Burrow, 3 Lamar, and 4 Josh Allen. I have no personal problem with those 4 in actually any order.
Why is Lamar better than Hurts? Like, this is just like some insane, like...
Come on. What do you mean? Why is Lamar better than Hurts?
Lamar just doesn't do anything. Like, he just runs around and beats crappy teams and loses to the good ones. Zach knows. There's a, right?
Well, no. I truly... do you know it's 41 touchdowns last year? 4 interceptions.
But Jalen Hurts is a champion. He's a champion. Who's like 3-dimensional. Who has an arm. Lamar just like runs around.
Lamar Jackson is a much better passer than Jalen Hurts is. You're telling me the guy passed for like 2,700 yards last year as an arm, and the guy who passed for 4,000 isn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do like your random takes, but Lamar being bad is cannot be one.
I'm not saying Lamar being bad, but I'm saying
playoff Lamar is garbage.
Yeah, like playoffs matter.
And I agree that the playoffs matter.
And Lamar just goes in the playoffs and loses the other good teams.
Lamar went into Buffalo and beat the Bills.
No, he didn't.
I'm sorry. Lamar should have beat the Bills, but Lamar
gets to the playoffs as a high seed and loses every year. He can't win. Like, why is it that Lamar is ahead of Jalen Hurts?
Who would you rather have?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think Lamar Jackson as a passer, runner, everything is just better than Jalen Hurts. Like this narrative of Lamar being like
Jack is trying to convince us that Jalen Hurts is 128 passing yards and 0 touchdowns lifted up the Eagles against the Rams. Like that's what he wants us to believe. It is.
Jalen Hurts wins meaningful football games.
I agree. I think Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts shows up in big moments, but he wasn't doing that a year ago. He changed that last season.
Lamar never has. Lamar and the Ravens are like Dak and the Cowboys. It's the same team.
But Lamar's 2-time MVPs. He runs for 1,000 yards a season. Last year was the best version of Lamar.
Then he plays a good comp and you can't beat him. Jalen Hurts beats them.
I don't know if Jalen Hurts. I think it's harder competition in the AFC and the road. When you're going on the road and you have to play, and generally you have to play Patrick Mahomes. You're playing Josh Allen. I mean,
Lamar also gets like the Browns and the Bengals 4 times, which are horrible defenses.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts last year was going against the Cowboys without Dak and the Giants.
The Giants have a good defense.
What are we talking about here?
I don't think it's a sure thing Lamar's in the top 4.
I think that's crazy.
I'd put Jalen Hurts number 3.
I
go back and forth on Burrow, but he's amazing. I go Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Allen, Lamar at 5.
You know why Hurts doesn't have a question mark. He's done it. Lamar has like a big question mark over him.
What are we talking about here?
No, Lamar's Dak. He's literally Dak Prescott.
No, he hasn't done it. But I mean, Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback. But comparing him to Lamar Jackson,
what is
he's done it with it's a team sport, guys.
Lamar just runs around against crappy teams and plays goings and loses.
You watched the Super Bowl, right? You saw what the Eagles defense did to the Chiefs.
I bet you if Lamar was the competing that Hurts wouldn't have been there.
I don't agree with that. I think if you're starting a team, you'd much rather have Lamar Jackson for the reasons we've all laid out. He's a much better passer. He's a better runner. He's better at everything than Jalen Hurts, except maybe the quarterback sneak.
Jalen Hurts wins.
If he's better at everything, then he should have a Super Bowl.
He just chokes in the playoffs. Playoffs matter. Regular season means nothing.
I think the Eagles last season had a dynamic team that went on the road. Their defensive line took over games.
Teams in the playoffs turn up. And that's when Lamar folds.
I thought
this is making it sound like Jalen Hurts had some incredible play.
Yeah, like I think Hurts is
when
fine.
Lamar Jackson's loss into the Bills was a better quarterback performance than anything Jalen Hurts did.
I'm saying it's no guarantee it's throw Lamar in the top 4 and Hurts is not up there.
But your argument is because the Eagles won.
I'm not even saying Hurts is like is that much better. But
no, you are. You put Hurts at the number 3 quarterback in the league.
I don't think Lamar is like a tier above Jalen Hurts. That's what I'm saying.
I think that Hurts is a really good quarterback on he's not carried by his team, but
they're the same player.
No, they're really not at all.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Please explain.
They both have good legs. They're good in the run game.
That just means the same thing.
Yeah.
What is your argument for Hurts over Lamar?
Jalen Hurts goes further.
What's the argument for Hurts over Lamar?
The argument for Hurts over Lamar is Jalen Hurts had a good playoff run. That's what it is.
Jalen Hurts doesn't fold. He's been to the Super Bowl twice.
He lost in the Super Bowl with a great game. Yeah, he was amazing in that game.
Jalen Hurts has been in the Super Bowl twice, won one. Lamar's in the best AFC Championship game. Lamar chokes.
So is
against big teams and big moments.
Jalen Hurts better than Mahomes? The Eagles beat the Chiefs. Mahomes was bad in the Super Bowl.
I think Hurts is closer to Mahomes than Lamar is.
Is Hurts? You just had Josh Allen ranked above Hurts. Why is Josh Allen over?
I didn't. I've heard 3, Allen 4.
Burrow didn't even make the playoffs.
He's been in a Super Bowl and has amazing numbers.
Lamar's numbers are amazing. He's been to the AFC Championship game.
He hasn't been to the Super Bowl.
So that one game
Hurts
is
has been a 2. Hurts has been a 2. And Hurts were on the road last year, had to head and beat Lamar. Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Look, yeah.
They're the same thing. They both just run. They're great runners.
Again, I'm asking you to say the difference between the two, and you're just saying they're good runners, and Jalen goes further. What else?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback's the leader of a team. Jalen Hurts takes his team further more often than Lamar Jackson does.
I feel like I'm in like a political debate right here, where I'm like, can you say any other reason?
I'll give you my answer.
I mean, Jack's reason is look at the win-loss in the playoffs. That is all.
I'll give you my answer.
Based on watching the games, it's not based on how they play.
It is. I'm basing solely off watching the games.
Who do you think is a better passer?
I think Hurts is fantastic.
You think they're the same? You clearly don't watch the games. You think they're the same kind of player. Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts are totally different players. You're just looking at the rushing yard total.
Jalen Hurts,
these guys are the same.
Hurts is a better passer than Lamar Jackson. Hurts finds AJ Brown, finds Von Smith. Lamar Jackson sucks as a passer. Whenever he plays the Steelers, I watch it.
If your ability to be a good passer is can you find AJ Brown? I mean, sure.
Lamar
Jalen Hurts is AJ Brown and Lamar Jackson does.
Every time that I see us play Lamar Jackson, we shut him down. Jalen Hurts annihilated
Lamar had a 93.3 passer grade last year for PFF, was the highest overall in football.
And
as a passer.
And again, he chokes in the playoffs.
He had the highest overall grade.
Regular season means nothing.
He had 93.3 as a passer. I don't even know where.
Regular season doesn't mean anything. It means nothing.
That's just hilarious.
No, it's not. The season starts in the playoffs when everyone's chasing the ring. Jalen Hurts, he mans up.
Your claim is when we're figuring out who's good, we should look at a set of 2 or 3 games rather than a set of 17.
When it counts, when men and boys are separated.
I think there's something about...
there's nothing to say to Jack.
Lamar lights up the boys, then the men and the boys are separated. Jalen Hurts becomes a man and Lamar doesn't.
Okay, so anyway, PFF's top 4.
Hurts is 3.
Was Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen. Most of us, not all of us, most of us seem to agree with that. I think you could go in any order. An interesting point PFF was making, and I think that this is true, is that right now Mahomes is losing a little bit of ground, especially over the past couple of years, where 3 years ago, Patrick Mahomes was number 1 for everyone. No matter who you ask, Mahomes should have been listed as the best quarterback in the league. And over the past couple of years, while he's still great and he goes on these great playoff runs, he shows up in those moments. In the regular season, Mahomes has been, worse, just objectively worse than he has been the rest of his career. And the other 3 guys, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow, are catching up. So it's PFF was making the point that this is the closest the margins have ever been between the 3 of them. He actually ranks below all 3 of those guys in PFF grades since the 2022 season. But at the end of the day, he is still going on these Super Bowl runs. So that is where, to Jack's point, the postseason abilities of Mahomes and the postseason winning still weighs a factor. Even though he just has not been as good as the other guys throughout the course of the season, he shows up in the playoffs. But that's for you to determine who you have number 1. The second tier is high-end starters. Number 5 is Jalen Hurts. So
Him and Lamar should be flipped.
5 is Hurts, 6 is Jayden Daniels, 7 Matthew Stafford, and 8 Justin Herbert. The high-end starters. Ziggy, let me ask you there, of those 5 guys or those 4 guys that I just rattled off, do you think anyone does not belong in that tier, or are they missing somebody from that tier?
I think it's too early to put, assuming we can only put 4 players there, it's too early to put Jayden Daniels there.
Really?
I get that he had a really excellent rookie season, but it's very difficult if you look at the actual distribution of outcomes after very good rookie seasons. And I get this was a very good rookie season. I would still expect Jayden Daniels to be a good quarterback, a very good quarterback, but number 6 in the league. You see guys have good rookie seasons and regress all the time. I'd like to see a little bit more from him before I have him there, compared to guys like Jared Goff or even like Brock Purdy, who have played very well for much, much longer.
So you would put Goff or Purdy in the high-end starter tier?
I certainly would put Goff there.
I think I put Goff there too. I put Stafford over Jayden Daniels too.
Stafford over Jayden Daniels. But would you keep Daniels in the high-end starter?
Yes. He's a top.
I think he has to be in the high-end starter.
He's coming in as a top 8 quarterback in the league. This reminds me a bit of last year's CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so that's actually that's what PFF talked about when they brought up Stroud. The exact quote was a cautionary tale for Jayden Daniels. I think Daniels has to be in there. So Ziggy, you would drop him, you would swap him and Goff at least. Maybe not positions.
Yeah, I'd move him down.
But you'd move Daniels into that bottom of the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not dropping him out of the top 10, but to say that he's going to play better than Stafford, than Herbert, than Goff, than Purdy, than Jordan Love, like all those guys who have shown a little bit more, tough for me to buy.
You know, I would have him there. I know that it's kind of early, but I thought that what you saw at the end of the season was, and this is PFF's point here, it was a guy who was awesome under pressure. It was a guy who was amazing in those clutch moments that Jack talks about, which I'm not disagreeing with you, Jack, on the importance of clutch moments and performing under pressure in general. I just thought for that argument, it was a different viewpoint. But I think Jayden Daniels showed on that playoff run, he was electric to finish the season. And it was the best. It's funny that we've had back-to-back best rookie seasons ever, but that is exactly what we've had here. And we can only go off what we've seen. So to project Jayden Daniels to take a little bit of or have a little regression this year, that's fair. Even if he regresses a little, probably still a top 10 quarterback in football. So I have no problem with anyone keeping him at number 6 there. The fear for the NFC is, what if this guy takes another jump, which is on the table. There's so many different outcomes for Jayden Daniels, and it really will determine the fate of the NFC potentially for the next decade, where if he does vault himself into that category with the elite starters, now we're talking about the juggernaut quarterback in the NFC. You have Hurts there, yes. You have Stafford right now. You have Goff, but he'd be unchallenged.
If he takes another step, and I said this same thing about Houston last year, is if he can elevate, the Commanders have a legitimate shot to win the NFC.
Win the Super Bowl.
Win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, win the Super Bowl. And Houston...
They had a legitimate shot to win the NFC last year.
Right.
They were in the championship game. Yeah.
But there was, what I'm saying is, in that game, I would have bet my entire house on Philly. I thought there was no way Washington was going to win that game. But if Daniels can repeat what he did or elevate, I'll go into the playoffs thinking, okay, they're a legitimate threat.
So Hurts, Daniels, Stafford wasn't great in the regular season, but I agree with having him there for when he gets into the playoffs. He's someone you want on your team. And then 8, Herbert. I actually was laughing out loud, guys, when I was going over the Herbert synopsis that they had. And it goes, quote, Herbert might be the best regular season quarterback in non-clutch situations. And then his 91 overall grade over the past 3 years ranked 6th. And when excluding playoff performances, his passing grade actually tops Patrick Mahomes. So I was like, okay, there's some nice compliments, a little bit of digs there. The next paragraph goes, in standard game situations, outside of late game or high pressure moments, Herbert owns the highest second passing grade in the league. With another year over Harbaugh, we'll see if he gets over the hump. And the conversations around Herbert for a long time was that he was that number 5 guy among the elite quarterbacks. And it's always, he has all the tools, just get him the right coach. And last year, they definitely made some strides with Jim Harbaugh. until they had the horrible game in Houston. 4 interceptions, just complete delamination. But just when you read that, outside of late game or high pressure moments, Herbert's awesome. That's where it needs to be. Okay, like, you know, they had that horrible loss in Jacksonville, horrible loss in the playoffs. I think Herbert's someone who's going under the radar this offseason of a guy who's under a lot of pressure to perform. Because if he doesn't do it again this year, we're going to start talking about Justin Herbert more as a very good quarterback and not a quarterback who can actually win anything.
Yeah, regular season means nothing.
I think it means something, but still, Justin Herbert to me is someone that has been horrible in the playoffs. Like Lamar's had some bad playoff moments, but Herbert's the game against the Texans was really bad. The collapse against the Jaguars was really bad. And like that can't happen.
I don't think anybody saw them getting waxed by Houston the way they did either.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not like that. But Herbert, I think, would you guys agree? I think Herbert's quietly under pressure.
I mean, I would agree as well. But I mean, talk pure talent base.
He's great.
I think I'd have him higher than 8. Like, I might even put him over Jayden Daniels.
He might be number 5.
Yeah. But no, of course, like Jim Harbaugh too now has made it like pretty clear that he is doing all he can now to go out and win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So if this isn't the year something happens, yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. I agree.
Is Herbert just Phillip Rivers 2.0?
Rivers
right now, right?
I don't know if it's 2.0.
He's probably better than Rivers.
That's why he's 2.0.
I don't know, man. Rivers, you go look at Rivers' numbers. Some of those seasons were unreal with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
but Rivers still had some runs where they were winning the division, and I know Mahomes is there, and Mahomes wasn't there in the past. But those Chargers teams, like they had a couple 14-2 teams in there with LaDainian Tomlinson. Or Rivers was throwing for. Let's look at Phillip Rivers' stats here.
Rivers was fantastic.
You forget. I mean, Rivers is top 10 in all most of these stats. Like Rivers had, year after year over 4,500 yards in the 30s, or at least very close for touchdowns. I mean, he was a great quarterback, but I'm trying to look. Let's see these Chargers records.
I mean, Big Ben, who's a first ballot in everybody's eyes, Phillip Rivers has the equal numbers throughout his whole career as Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I don't think Phillip Rivers is the comparison. I think Derek Carr is the comparison.
I think that's a better one. Herbert. Wow, I actually didn't realize how long a stretch. Sorry to interrupt just for 1 second, Ziggy. From 2010 to until 2018, the Chargers did not win 10 games. Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, there is no quarterback maybe in the history of the NFL that's been more let down by defense and special teams. Like, you don't see a quarterback throw for 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions and win 4 games. Yeah. That just doesn't happen unless you're Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Rivers teams here starting in 2006, divisional round, conference round, divisional playoff losses. I mean, then those teams were 14, 11, 8, and 13 win teams. Like, I mean, they had some great teams. Herbert hasn't done anything close to that in terms of being impressive on the playoff success.
The thing that scares me about Justin Herbert, too, is by all accounts, his first 2 seasons or even his first 3 seasons were very good. But if you look at Justin Herbert's ranking and some of the more stable advanced metrics, like by success rate, this guy's career 14th or 15th since he entered the league. PFF grade, career 8th since he entered the league. Completion percentage over expected, 15th since he's entered the league. I mean, if you go down all of these stats, Justin Herbert doesn't look like an elite guy. He looks like about the number 8 quarterback. And I think, Justin Herbert isn't helped by the fact in the media that like he's not an exciting quarterback to watch, right? He's not Josh Allen who can throw linebacker. He's like over his shoulder. He's not Lamar Jackson who can bend the laws of physics. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's a very boring quarterback to watch. But even if you go and look at the numbers, Justin Herbert does not have the profile of a guy who's challenging to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we've seen him since 2021 get worse every single season.
That's the expectation for Herbert, though, which is so weird about it, is every year we come in and we talk about Herbert like he's a top 5 guy. And then the season happens and the Chargers are just kind of meh. Like, they have their moments, and he has his moments as well where, like, Justin Herbert's a tough guy. I mean, Justin Herbert will go out there and play games with like broken ribs, and he's very impressive, and he can launch the ball. No one's arguing that he's bad. We all agree he's a top 10 quarterback. It's just given the expectations of what people expect the Chargers to be. His record by years, 6-9 for him playing in games, 6-9, 9-8, 10-7, 5-8, 11-6, and 11-6 is a good year. You get to the playoffs, but you get waxed. That's not the expectation for a guy you're talking about as a top 5 quarterback. Like that can't happen.
Worries me too. Like the thing that worries me too about Herbert is if you look at those early seasons, when Justin Herbert's his best, he's a bona fide dual threat quarterback. But the past 3 seasons, he's been plagued by injuries. I'm worried that, in the same way that Dak Prescott was a lot better when he could tuck the ball and run, and many of his best seasons were driven by that. Like Justin Herbert's getting a high ankle sprain every year. He's fracturing some part of his body every year, whether it's his hand or his foot or his ribs. Like this guy's injury history is devastating. So I'm worried even physically about his ability to play like he did early in his career.
Now, I know we just talked quite negatively about Herbert. I still do think he's great.
He's an awesome quarterback.
Like he is a great quarterback.
He's
no one's
borderline
denying
top
that.
10.
And that's
I'd
where
fit him into that top 10.
And last year, 23 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Like kind of crazy. 4 in the playoff game, 3 in the regular season.
He lit us up.
But now this is why year 2 with Harbaugh has had the whole year now. This is why you want to see the jump. You have to feel a little bit bad about the weapons he's had there, and he comes into this year with Ladd, Quentin Johnston, Mike Williams, and then you're hoping maybe Trey Harris can be something. It's still not a great.
Mike Williams back.
Bunch of stars on the O-line too.
Oh yeah, the offensive line's great, but as far as the pass catching guys, not a lot jumping out. Unless if someone emerges.
I think Ladd McConkey's an ascending talent. I think he's got a wide receiver one.
I like Ladd, but like when we're talking about these other quarterbacks here who are at the top of the list, Mahomes is Mahomes and Allen's Allen. Burrow's got the 2 guys. Even the Ravens, I like Zay Flowers probably more than anyone that they have with the Chargers at the moment.
Brown and Smith.
And Jalen Hurts is amazing.
You're taking Zay Flowers over Ladd McConkey?
I
think I would take Zay Flowers.
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, they're kind of close.
I mean, Ladd McConkey had a much better season last year than Zay Flowers did.
No, I mean, they're kind of close, but I don't think it's crazy to take Zay over Ladd.
Yeah, but I think if you're getting Ladd McConkey and Trey Harris, that's as good as you can expect as a quarterback. If you've got a good offensive line and a strong run game, you should be able to get it done.
I don't know if that's as good as you can expect. The Ravens also have Derrick Henry in the backfield, but like it's fine. It's fine. It's just Jane Daniels. I'd rather have McLaurin. The Rams, I'd rather have Puka. Puka's there. The Lions, like Goff is next on the list. They have Amon-Ra. Of all these quarterbacks here in the top 10 or top 8 that we've said so far, the worst weapons probably belong to Herbert. Or maybe Josh Allen.
I was surprised to see him not go receiver in round 1. What were they picking, 20?
Yeah.
I mean, they liked Trey Harris. I don't think taking Trey Harris in round 2 is really punting on wide receiver.
They took in round 1, they took Hampton, right?
Yeah, they took Hampton round 1. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And they're a ground and pound team, but you need a little bit better from Herbert, I think, to take that jump up. We'll run through these guys a little faster. Tier 3A, solid starters who have flashed high end. I was a little surprised with this ranking here. 9 was Jared Goff, who, as Ziggy said, you could probably put in the high end starters after the past 2 seasons he's had. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, flashed high-end play, a.k.a. led a top 5 offense for 2 seasons in a row after leading a top 5 offense in his previous location. Yeah, sure.
I get where you're coming
he's
from.
Not number 9. I put him at number 5.
Oh, I think 9's.
No, well, let's see who they're grouping him in with, of guys who have flashed high-end play.
They're grouping with this freaking...
Yeah, Geno Smith is number 10, which was just stunning to me.
I think Aaron Rodgers over Geno Smith.
That's stunning to me. And then Purdy was 11. I thought that was a blown tier. I like Purdy. I again, we've gone through these arguments before. Brock Purdy is awesome for what the 49ers do. When they needed him to step up last year, I didn't think he did that. If we're ranking quarterbacks given their situations, then you could say, okay, Purdy should have a pretty good year, but still 11 feels high. Geno, I have no idea where that's coming from.
Yeah, that
just feels like one of these dumb PFF things where they give you the ranking and you go, well, that doesn't really make too much sense, but I guess that's the ranking.
Also, but I find it tough to believe that you can put even like someone like Jayden Daniels over Jared Goff. Right now,
I at least get it.
I get that.
But like
Goff,
Goff has been the captain of an amazing team the last 2 seasons.
Goff is another one of those guys that, well, he was super efficient. Like there were moments last year where Jared Goff was just unstoppable. He also had a couple moments, right? The beginning of the Houston game before they had the huge comeback. And then the Commander game.
Geno Smith.
Well, Geno, I don't get it. I think that Jared Goff has to be considered at least for the bottom end of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league at the moment. I do believe that with all the losses they've had on the line and Ben Johnson, I think there's a little question mark of what he'll be this year. But the question of, is Jared Goff going to, will he revert back to, the end of the Rams Jared Goff where he was struggling more? I don't think that's going to happen. But there's certainly a little question. There should be some questions about Goff. And if you don't have any questions, then you're a Lions fan who's being a little too biased.
Also, too, as you said before, like it's a team sport. So when everybody comes out with these quarterback rankings, it's a total moot point and kind of nonsense to just say like, if you put these guys in any team, who's the best quarterback if you flip flop and play all those games?
Yeah, they are on these teams.
But everybody's on these teams.
Yeah.
Like Jared Goff on the Lions right now, I think I would take his Lions over Jayden Daniels. He hasn't proven much.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about the best quarterback though. Like we are at the end of the day saying who's the best quarterback.
For two different franchises of two completely different offenses has led top 5 seasons multiple times.
What are you arguing?
Right?
Are you arguing that he should
with the Lions? He did it in 2017 and 2018 with the Rams. Like this is a guy who wherever he goes, a top 5 offense follows him. People want me to believe he's not good.
Well, wait. What's the argument that you want? That he should be in the high end starter, or that he should be over some of these guys?
My claim is that if you say he doesn't belong in high end starter because there's questions about him, I have more questions about Matthew Stafford and Justin Herbert and Jayden Daniels than I do about Jared Goff.
Would you put him over? How many of these guys would you put him over?
I'd put him over Herbert and Stafford.
Because, like, to me, I'm not. Like, all these guys who are ranked above him, I would take them for the season. And I no doubt to my mind. Jared Goff has been awesome for 2 years. No way in hell am I taking him over Justin Herbert. Like, if you said, who do you want quarterback in your team next year? I'm taking Herbert.
Jared Goff's average season is better than Justin Herbert's average season. His last 2 years have been way better than Herbert's last.
Actually, might take Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think he's having Ben Johnson was huge. I think that their offense is much better than the Chargers' offense. I think Herbert's a better player. I think if you put Herbert on the Lions, they're going to probably be a better team.
Yeah, I just struggle to hear that a guy who, how many years has he been in the NFL? I'm going to exclude that rookie year, 2017 to 2024. 5 of those years, he's led top 5 offenses, and people want to say it's everyone else's fault. No.
Well, we do have to consider the guys he's working with McVay, and he's working with Ben Johnson. He's working with these great offensive minds. I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate. Fan of Jared Goff. Hope he does well. He had moments where he beat the crap out of us last year, where he dropped back and it was an automatic completion. I just think 9 is a reasonable.
Says,
9 is a reasonable spot.
He gets to work with Andy Reid, man. He's so lucky.
Yeah, that's
Jalen
because Patrick Mahomes is throwing
the Eagles offense. He's so lucky. So we're just going to say that he's a borderline top 10 quarterback. Like, no.
That's because Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball left-handed.
Year out, you deserve credit.
He does. He's number 9. 9's really high, Ziggy.
I think I'd put Goff over a handful of these guys.
I think 9 is I think that's a great compliment.
Slightly better Geno Smith. That is not giving him credit.
Well, that's what they're. First off, they haven't. The Geno Smith. I have no idea where that's coming from. But I think 9 is a fine ranking for Goff. I actually think, if anything, it might be generous.
I put Rodgers at 10.
If with these rankings,
yes.
Geno makes no sense to me. Purdy at 11. I think Purdy's closer to the middle of the league, around 16. The next tier is solid starters, but they need more help, and this is a pretty big one. 12 is Jordan Love.
Are we going all 32 quarterbacks?
No. We're just gonna. I'm just gonna blast.
It's also worth noting. Aaron
I'm just gonna blast through.
Not ranked on this list.
I'm just gonna blast through the tiers.
That's blasphemous.
They had.
Well, no, it's good they put Mason Rudolph in for the Steelers.
Jordan Love, Baker at 13, Stroud 14, Kyler 15, Lawrence 16, Dak 17, Tua at 18. I was pretty surprised that Jordan Love did not have the tier 3A ability to be in that solid starter.
How are Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield
the two of them
solid starters who have flashed high?
I thought that's exactly what they are.
Tiers 4.
Love and Baker are behind Geno Smith.
And Purdy, which I don't think they should be behind Purdy.
Not just behind, a tier below.
Baker's been a very good quarterback.
What is the? I know Geno's had solid numbers, but what is the like high end?
That makes no sense. Maybe this guy's a Raiders.
Here's what I want you to imagine. Every NFL quarterback's going on the trade market. Geno Smith, he just fetched a 3rd round pick. What picks do you think? Do you think Jordan Love, you could get him for a 3rd round pick?
No, what's Jordan Love going for?
You could get Jared Goff for a 3rd round pick.
What's Jordan Love going for on the market right now? 3?
At least a first.
Yeah,
two first.
Yeah, probably 2 first rounders.
Two first. Like it's. I could not believe seeing Geno at 10 there, and I as you said, solid quarterback with high end upside. I think is the definition of Jordan Love. Like that is exactly who Jordan Love is right now, and I would probably put Love at right around 10. I think 10's a good number, maybe even 9 for Jordan Love. I was shocked at seeing him at 12.
I'd put Baker at like 7.
Baker's been fantastic. Baker,
he's been amazing.
Yeah. Baker had the best season of his career last year, and he was dealing. And Chris Godwin missed a lot of the season. Mike Evans was banged up at times. Like I think Baker has been. He's close to that. He's closer to 10 to me than Purdy and Geno as well.
Then I'd throw Lamar at like 20 behind Tua.
You'd have Lamar just plummeting down the list.
Yeah, he's behind Tua.
It's tricky with some of these guys. Like Jordan Love last year, I think we've talked so many times about the things that have made it hard to evaluate, but his style of play also changed pretty significantly from 2023. 2023, the thing that stands out to me was how many big shots Jordan Love took, and they actually worked out a fair bit. If you look at his passes over 20 yards last year, air yards, they dropped almost by half. Like this is a guy who, and I think this is largely the injuries, just wasn't able to make the same kinds of plays or even attempt the same kinds of plays as before. I am expecting a big Jordan Love rebound. And Baker Mayfield, I don't think he gets enough credit because really he's bad when he's hurt and he's great when he's not hurt. I've said this a lot of times on the show. I don't think there's a single quarterback who's more affected by injury than Baker Mayfield. Like when he's hurt, he's terrible. He's one of the worst guys you've ever seen. When he's healthy, he's a very, very good quarterback. And then you've got guys like CJ Stroud down here too. I think most of the quarterbacks in this tier are going to be elevated next year.
I think Love, Baker.
I put Stroud over Geno Smith.
Love, Baker, and Stroud to me were all guys that I'd have in that tier 3A right there. It very surprising not having them there. With Love, though, that makes sense is he is coming off a poor season for the expectations that we had. And we all think the injuries played a really large part of that.
What did Geno do?
But no, I can't. I truly can't fathom
that's
how that's
possible.
there. But I get where they're coming from with Love at 12, where a lot of us may view him as a top 10 quarterback. A lot of our listeners for sure view him as a top 10 quarterback. But in light of everything that happened last season, there is that has to have some weight to it before we can just automatically say Jordan Love is the 7th best quarterback in football. That is us remembering the 2023 version of him. So I do think that that's fair in terms of this ranking, that we're reacting off of the most recent material we have to react off of. And he could very quickly, if they beat the Lions week 1 and Love goes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, now he'll immediately go up these lists. But given where we ended last season, I don't think 12 is crazy. I think the difference in the tiers is crazy. And I think some of the guys he may be behind is crazy, but not the actual ranking of 12.
No, and I think the worst ranking here really is Baker Mayfield. I mean, the thing is, Jordan Love, I think, should hope that, like Baker, he's able to put multiple years between his bad seasons with high quality play. Mm-hmm. But Baker's actually done that, right? Obviously, 2021 and 2022 were bad. 2023 was good. 2024 was great. Right, Baker Mayfield last year, 4,500 yards, over 40 touchdowns, like 15 interceptions. The dude could play. Jordan Love were much less removed from the bad play. So I agree with you, Paul, that some caution is warranted on Jordan Love. But Mayfield's here. He's arrived. And I think if you're a Packers fan, you're hoping that, like Mayfield, when he got healthy, immediately the switch flipped and he started playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the league. The same thing can happen for Jordan Love.
I have 2 questions for you guys. The first one, Ziggy, is for you. Do you think, as far as who you trust the most coming into this season, between Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love? What's your answer there? Or if you could rank all 3, that'd be
Mayfield, Love.
Goff, Mayfield, Love. Okay. I think that's understandable.
I expect them all to play pretty well. I know Goff will. I strongly believe Mayfield will. I think Love will.
And then, since we all disagree on Geno at 10, I think those other 9 quarterbacks all belong there right now. Who do you think is the best chance, or who are you expecting has the best opportunity to take that 10 spot from Geno during the season?
Take a 10 spot from Geno.
Yeah, or at least get into the top 10. Someone who's...
Or take it from Brock Purdy if you want. Take
sure.
It from whomever.
Whoever's on the outside looking in on this list right now, who do you think is the most likely candidate to get into the top 10?
I might actually go with CJ Stroud, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I'd probably go Stroud or Mayfield.
So not Love.
But I don't know if I'd go Love.
Dak?
Stroud?
You do like Dak.
I do like Dak.
17.
Dak now with Pickens, yeah.
I actually agree with you on Stroud.
I think I'd go Stroud. I mean, we saw what he's capable of with that rookie year. He was flat out awesome. Like he came in last year, number 6, right, to start the year in these rankings?
He could even be 5. Yeah, I don't know where he was, but you could have argued him for very high up the list.
Coming in last year, when the Texans' win total was 4, and he took them to a 9-win season.
Right, 2 years ago? Yeah.
2 years ago. 2 9-win season, came into his second year as the number 5, 6 quarterback in the rankings. And then you get that big red X on your back. I think that played a role. And now this year, third time around, third season, a little bit of a vet. I think now it's CJ Stroud's turn to realize, all right, this is the NFL. I'm now a big name. Let me go do what I'm capable of doing. He's got a near superstar receiver in Nico Collins, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, a good team. I think it's CJ Stroud.
Yeah, and you agree?
Everybody, I think, is forgetting about CJ Stroud. I mean, the offensive line was terrible. The play calling was terrible. We talked about how terrible a year it is. They won a playoff game last year against a good team.
Did. Yeah.
And then they went to Kansas City. And I mean, it wasn't a great game, but it's not like they got run out of the building.
Was it a 7-point loss? 8-point loss?
11.
That was 11.
It was a close game.
Yeah, it was a game.
Yeah, it's like a bad season for CJ Stroud is still winning a playoff game, which is something these other guys we're talking about weren't able to do last year.
I'm really tempted to say it's Dak. That feels a little crazy.
But look at the weapons.
But I'm thinking through. I'm thinking in between Love, Mayfield, Stroud, and Dak. I'd take all.
Dak is 2 number 1.
I would still take CJ and Love over Dak. But I think the situation, I can see Dak having a really big year.
The thing that makes me hesitate is we know for a fact Dak's best football is behind him. That's not to say that he won't be very good, but he's already played the best football of his career, surely during a couple of those runs in the early 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
For none of the other guys we're mentioning is that true. All of them a chance to be better than they've been in the past. And still, Dak's around there with them.
They have a chance to be better, but there's also a chance they never reach that potential.
But even
it's the same thing with Dak. He's an old quarterback coming off an injury, and it wasn't like he was all that good when he wasn't injured.
But I mean, I like Jack was saying,
Pickens 2 number
CD, I like more. Mayfield, I like Mayfield too. I like the weapon. So it's funny. I like Stroud and Love better as players, but I like the weapons of Baker and Dak more.
Yeah, and that plays a huge role.
Yeah,
like Dak's a quarterback, a solid number 1 receiver,
and we'll see Green Bay. We'll see what happens there. Stroud's got Nico too.
But even if Stroud, even if he doesn't repeat to the fullest his rookie year, Stroud somewhat close to that is probably a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I think Stroud and Love I expect to get into that top 10. I think Goff's going to fall out. I think Geno will fall out.
Baker could also get up.
Okay, we'll wrap this conversation up. The last thing I did want to point out is that he had his tier 4 was young players with a wide range of outcomes, and it went at 19, Bo Nix, Bryce Young, then JJ McCarthy at 21. Yeah, that was awesome. And he had JJ. He said JJ was his top quarterback in the 2024. Who is this?
It doesn't make sense.
John Costco.
You know who this is.
John Costco?
Yeah, he's been the biggest JJ McCarthy believer ever.
Costco.
Yeah,
hey, dude. Yeah,
this guy hasn't thrown a pass since he was 18 years old.
He said his 2023 season at Michigan, he earned a 92.2 PFF grade, 93.4 passing grade. Highlighted everything you want in a young passer.
Dumping off the tight ends.
Yeah,
throwing screens to running backs. I don't know.
He might be great at it.
Yeah, well, he is.
Yeah, I mean, we got a good team to dump the ball off to. Give it to Jefferson. Let him go. Give the ball to TJ Hawkinson. Let him go. Let him truck people. I thought that was a little high for JJ, but then Drake May, Penix, Caleb, and Cam Ward ended that.
Caleb sucks.
And
where's Rudolph?
There's one more thing on this list that I think is just baffling.
30.
I think you're about to get there.
Then tier 5 was veterans capable of solid play but could quickly be replaced. Darnold at 26, Russell Wilson 27, Justin Fields 28. Feels pretty disrespectful to Sam Darnold after that season he had last year. And we'll finish off. Tier 6 was low end starters, not long term options. 29 Flacco, 30 Anthony Richardson. Sorry, Jack. 31.
He's not our starter.
Mason Rudolph.
He's not the starter.
Tyler Shaw for the Saints at 32.
So our backups in the top 32.
I feel like Sam Darnold, this is strange, even more than some of those guys we talked about. It feels like Sam Darnold is getting literally zero credit for what he did with the Vikings last year. And it's super strange.
And a report came out.
He had the meltdown at the end of the season, and he talked about it with Mike Silver at The Athletic. He said, I laid an egg. I really need to do better. Like, Sam Darnold played very good football last year. And this is a guy where people around the league have believed in him for a long time. What has he done to be behind Cam Ward, Caleb Williams?
Well, no, that's
Drake
insane.
May,
That to me was more of a problem with the tiers than the actual rankings. Like, if anyone has Sam Darnold as number 26, you're crazy. Like,
Sam
you're
Darnold
just crazy.
Is not going to be replaced next year. Those other two guys, I don't know if they'll finish the season.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think that there was a problem with his tiers. He had the young quarterbacks, and then he should have put Darnold up. Like, Darnold's what, maybe somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah, that's
probably
reasonable.
It seems like Darnold's spot, but it just goes to show. Man, it really goes to show how horrible.
Caleb Williams over.
You could talk me into Caleb.
Cam Ward.
Oh no, Cam Ward. You can't. Cam can't be over Darnold. You could talk me into Caleb.
This guy won 14 games in the best division of football.
Last year, Darnold had 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, and won 14-3. He was great. He was utterly great the entire
Ward
year.
Didn't make the college football playoff, and he's ranked ahead of.
I mean, the Sam Darnold we saw against the Lions is better than some of these rookies. Is better than most of Bryce Young's career.
No, the Sam Darnold we saw against the Lions was really.
No, but that's like literally Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and that's still better than most of Bryce Young's career.
Sure, most of his career, yes. Oh yeah, no. Again, we all agree the ranking
that's
is wrong.
why I think it's baffling.
It's a baffling
Sam
ranking.
Darnold,
Clearly, there are some major problems with this list. We're reacting.
Caleb should be 64.
But Darnold, it just goes to show, guys, how sour of a taste it left in people's mouth those final two games. Like, the Vikings wanted Darnold back, but not at the deal. They were going to give him $50 million a year. If he ends the year strong and they go to the divisional round and lose, Sam Darnold's probably a Minnesota Viking. But the way he finished against the Lions, 18 of 41, 166 yards. Against the Rams, 25 of 40, 245 with an interception and 9 sacks. Fumble return for a touchdown. Like, it was so bad that you saw the Vikings willing to let go of him for, pretty quickly. You see the big report here that's coming out is that Brady was not in favor of Sam Darnold with the Raiders, that he talked them out of that, instead opting for the 10th best quarterback in the league in Geno Smith, which makes sense, right?
Did Brady make these rankings?
Brady loves Geno. According to Mike Silver, Brady, this might have not been Silver.
Another
actually.
Touchdown pass. Brady
really respected Geno, liked the way he threw it, his technique, throwing from the ground up. He thought he has potential to improve. That's what John Spike
what's
said.
such a shame in the NFL, really in anything, you can go and rattle off like so many consecutive solid games and still get questioned. And if you suck one or two times, boom, you suck.
Yeah, it's like you and Lamar Jackson.
He always sucks.
Lamar Jackson has 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Well,
there's no way Jack is sitting here talking about how unfair it is to judge guys on one or two pressure.
No,
Lamar goes and blasts your team in the playoffs, and then Mark Andrews drops a football. And
regular season means nothing.
So it is unfortunate, or it's not unfortunate.
So this is why Darnold is dropped to 26. Because the regular season means nothing, and he'd choke when the boys became out.
Consistent playoff star Geno Smith.
He should be 31. I'm not saying he should be 10.
I do think that Jack is right when he says that the reason Darnold is 26 is because of those games. Like, that's it.
The unfortunate thing,
and that's clouding Darnold way more than it.
And
I don't know if it's more than it should, though. Like, they were really bad.
The unfortunate thing is regular season means nothing.
It means
That's
something.
why Lamar's low on my list. That's why Sam Darnold's low on his list.
The regular season, though, does
Because
mean
when all
something.
the boys are out and the men are playing against the men, Lamar Jackson can't win.
Well, you getting home.
What
field
you're
matters.
saying makes no sense.
Joe Burrow's one.
That's not what Tom Brady's thinking.
Well, Tom Brady seems like he's got a screw loose then.
No. Well, I don't know what to deal with the Brady and Geno.
I'd rather have Darnold over Geno. I'm not saying Darnold's bad. Regular season means nothing.
Yeah, I can't say it means nothing when it determines the home field advantage, and I think that matters.
Lamar at home field couldn't win. It means nothing.
Yeah, he lost to Mahomes, who I think is better than him.
You know who's beating Mahomes? Burrow and Hurts.
Burrow did.
Well, let's not rehash this conversation.
So, the other story that broke out here over the weekend, we said Caleb Williams was at Fanatics Fest this week in New York, and he was asked about the worst experience that he had with fans or the 2024 NFL season. And he said this was his response. It was Packers fans when he went to Green Bay for the last week of the season in their win. The quote from Caleb, "They suck." After the game we won at Lambeau, we're 1-0 at Lambeau right now. So obviously we tried to do a Lambeau leap, and we actually tried to jump into the crowd where our fans were, and they start throwing everything at you. They push you off. The Lambeau leap, it's a real leap. It's not a little baby jump. You actually have to high jump, basically. And then they're pushing in your face. I actually thought in response, it's great. I love that the Bears, and you actually saw Ben Johnson come out in his press conference saying, I love beating Matt LaFleur twice a season. I love when the Bears shit talk the Packers because it's totally unwarranted. Like, it makes no sense. It's like the Mets shit talking the Yankees. It's like, it's all these little brother, big brother situations where the Packers don't care about the Bears. The Yankees don't really care about the Mets until you become a pest. Until there's actually something that they could kind of brag about a little bit, and then you're like, all right, we got to put you back in your place.
But if you're the little brother and not expected to win, or you're overshadowed.
Oh yeah, that's why I love it.
Like, their goal is to get these fans pissed off.
Oh, and it works.
And it works. The same with the Mets and the Yankees.
And I love watching it from afar as the Bears-Packers rivalry as it goes.
Like, the Packers, sorry to interrupt, but the Packers will give you all this, and we don't care about the Bears. Like, they're just irrelevant to the Bears. The Yankees, same thing with the Mets. And then when the Mets fans start chirping and the Bears fans start chirping, they do care. They get pissed off.
Yeah, they do.
And that's the goal of these little brother teams.
Yeah. And you know what? The Bears have had no success against Green Bay for the past 14 years. I think they're 3-25 over the past 28 games that they've had against Green Bay. And to go in and end an 11-game losing streak against the Packers with a game-winning touchdown drive, even though the game meant nothing, I actually think that means something to Chicago. Like, when that happened in the moment, I thought this is, Caleb said we're 1-0 in 2025. And while it's easy for the Packers fans and, Vikings fans, whoever it may be, who makes fun of Chicago, to sit back and say, yeah, that's the Bears finding wins when it doesn't matter. For a team like the Bears, I actually do think it matters. Like, they've been craving success for a long time and been craving some stability for a long time. That getting a win like that actually means something.
That was a big one. And it was a meaningful game for Green Bay, was it not? Like, if they
wound up not being meaningful because of the end.
But they didn't know that at the time.
But not
right.
the
They didn't, if they'd gotten the 60.
And
right?
Jordan Love was hurt. In that
regardless, we saw how bad the Bears culture was last year. I mean, there's a real argument they had the worst culture environment in the entire NFL, right?
Yeah.
To be able to win a game like that, a game that's cursed, and then you bring in a new head coach, you bring in new organizational competency, I think people are going to look back on that game as a turning point.
Maybe we'll see if that will be the turning.
That's a prediction. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be true.
Who else had that moment? Who else had that moment in Green Bay last week of the season? Game meant nothing for them.
The Lions.
And I think that showed the right shift. That showed the shift in the Dan Campbell-led Lions. I know Ben Johnson wasn't there, but you saw how that team from that moment on, and they got hot at the end of the year, but that really felt like the critical point of that season was, hey, the Lions don't go into Green Bay and keep them out of the playoffs.
I mean, also,
they don't do that.
Yeah. Also, as well, again, I think the Bears will be 5-12 again, but the bright spot, the sliver of hope, is not just going and beating Green Bay, but that's also the same team who had it won in Detroit, who had it won in Washington.
Had it won against Green Bay the first time, the field goal.
Yeah, like had it won against Green Bay the first time. It's not a team who was horrible all year, got up to play their Super Bowl and won. It's a team who happened to win that game, but also compete on the road with the NFC's best as well.
Yeah, I mean, but
Like,
again,
that's-
Jordan Love did get hurt and Christian Watson tore his ACL, but still, big win. Still a big win.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from it.
The one pushback I'd have is that when you do poke Big Brother, every now and then he swings back.
And three times as hard. Too.
With Caleb Williams making these jabs and with Ben Johnson making these jabs at LaFleur, they will be heard in Green Bay. You know?
I mean, I'll tell you this. You're not going to see this now because it's the off season. But did you see Caleb Williams at Summer Smash?
No, I don't think so.
He was participating in a FGB chant, though the words were maybe spelled out. He's jumping up and down, fuck Green Bay, fuck Green Bay.
Yeah.
You're going to see that plastered over social media if the Packers beat the Bears.
Oh, it'll be like all these offseason comments are for sure going to be, when they play each other, going to be all over the place. You'll probably have an F Green Bay shirt in Chicago. I get, well, they already exist.
And
but,
the Big Brother just stays silent till the time comes.
yeah, till the time comes. So we'll see. That's what's going to be fun about this year, though, is Little Brother actually a contender? Or are the Packers just going to put him back in their place?
And I mean, these could be important games. The Bears and the Packers play December 7th and December 20th. That's late in the season. You could have two teams with a lot of momentum, with a lot going on. These are both teams that are trying to improve and be on the up and up next year. I think those could be, it's sort of unfortunate we don't get to see it a little bit earlier, but I think those could be two of the biggest games in December.
All right, we can wrap it up here with a quick game. If you guys are in for that. Unless if Ziggy, would you rather do you want to do Ziggy's question or you want to do my top 10
No. We should do yours.
All right, the top 10 list. This was actually what I had for last week, and we'll close it off here. Jack, try not to look at this computer screen if you can.
Yeah. I can't read anyway. So.
CBS Sports ranked the top 10 dynasties in the history of the NFL. Can you guys name those dynasties?
Steelers in the 70s.
I give you three
Wait, hold on.
strikes.
When we're talking dynasties, like, okay, so one of them has to be the Patriots, but is that going to be two dynasties or one?
That's one. The Patriots are number one from 2001. They just did 01 to 18.
The 70s Steelers.
Okay, so the dynasties can last a really long time.
I'd say the 70s
Yes,
Steelers.
They can, but
They won 4 Super Bowls.
the 70 Steelers are number 2.
Steelers has to be one.
Okay.
Yep. 70 Steelers
All
are
right,
number 2.
the Chiefs.
Chiefs are number 5 right now.
Who's number 1?
What
The
about
Patriots, we said Patriots.
What about the
Oh, they were 1. Okay.
What about the Cowboys?
I'm curious. Do you think are the 49ers going to be one dynasty or two? There's going to be some 49ers on there. I'm going to call like the 80s 49ers.
The 49ers, it says from 81 to 94. They are 4.
What about the Cowboys?
Okay.
Cowboys, any time period?
I think like
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Whatever
have to
Ziggy
be,
said.
right?
90s Cowboys? They are 6.
Nice.
Okay, so hold on.
Okay, Paul's asking 90s Cowboys. That means 70s Cowboys. Are on there too.
70s Cowboys are number 9.
How about the Bears? Ziggy, Bears?
The 85 Bears.
No, the Bears aren't a dynasty.
No, I know, I'm kidding.
No.
All right, let me recap where you guys are at.
Okay, take a step back, Paul. What have we got?
So you have 3 strikes. Right now, you guys are off to a great start. Patriots, number 1 from 01 to 2018. The Steelers from 1974 to 79 are 2. You have not gotten 3. 4 are the 49ers from 81 to 94. 5 are the current Chiefs. 6, the Cowboys in the 90s. You have not gotten 7 or 8. Number 9, the Cowboys in the 70s. And you have not gotten number 10.
What about like
One of them has to be the Lombardi Packers.
What about the early Packers, right?
They are
won the
number
first
3.
2.
The Packers
Okay.
from 60 to 67. All right, boys. Good job so far.
All right, that's 3. So we got
So you're missing 7, 8, and 10 here.
This is getting tough, actually.
It gets a little tough now.
This is pretty tough. Were there any other? Would
What
Philly
about-
Would Philly be there? They've won 2 in the last 4 years. Do they count that?
No, I'll tell you, they're not counting Philly. But Philly,
Okay.
Philly has won 2 and
3 years.
they've won 2.
No, 2.
And since 2018. They won
Right.
2018.
And they've been to another
but they
one,
went
right,
to
right.
another one.
What
What about
that's
the Hogs?
the who?
Seahawks.
The Hogs.
Hawks?
No, they're like 80s Commanders.
Oh, they are number 8.
Oh,
yes.
Ziggy.
I thought he said Hogs. Yes,
I've never even heard
82
of
to
that.
91.
The Purple People Eaters.
You've never. Oh, I mean that was an all-time. I mean, if it weren't for that one suit, that was an all-time.
Remember they had the
right
Doug, they had the Doug Williams team in there. They had the was the Doug Williams team the one that beat the Vikings in 87?
Would the Bills go into 4
Yeah,
straight
and then
Super
they
Bowls be a
had,
dynasty?
Mark Ripon, right?
Yep, Mark. Yep, he was there, and there was and then Theismann was the first one. So kind of interesting to have a dynasty. You know, normally with dynasties there's overlap, especially of the quarterback position. But the Commanders or then the Redskins had 3 different quarterbacks for their 3 Super Bowls. Okay, so right now
That means there's 2 left.
you need 7 and 10. I'm not gonna give you any hints yet
because I have no clue.
I think I'm out. Yeah, I have no idea.
Come on, think a little bit. You can definitely get these
Can
two.
we
The
get,
Commanders was the
I'm trying to
Redskins
think-
was the
I'm
hardest.
trying to think if there are 2 that won multiple titles. The problem is these stretch so long that I feel like it could be anyone.
Well, what's considered a dynasty? How long did we consider a dynasty? Does it say?
Well,
Well,
this
they're
is-
not following the 3
Well, it doesn't.
titles.
It doesn't
in 5
matter
years.
what we think according to them. Yeah.
Because like Miami had the back-to-back seasons.
Oh, you're thinking like the 70s
70
Dolphins?
Yeah,
When did they win at 72?
72 and 73.
They did go
You know,
back to back.
Could that be
I'd
number
be
10?
willing to guess that.
That
I
could
think
be
that's
number
a good
10.
guess.
Dolphins.
Dolphins at 10, 71 to 73.
Oh, the Finns are in there.
2 Super Bowl championships and a third appearance for the Dolphins.
I just want to put it out there. At least Jack and Ziggy, go with
Yeah,
my
when you
picks.
make a good suggestion, we listen.
Yeah, when Paul's on the team, I get zilch.
Oh,
Hey, you had a chance to say Moose Tracks, man.
I'm
You
a
had a
Zach
chance.
guy.
No, I did say it. You chose.
I
you
said
didn't
we
want
all
it.
good with it, and we all good with Rocky Road or whatever. Fudge
I was
Brownie.
good with it. I'm a Zach guy.
Yeah. All right. So there's one more then for you guys.
The Carolina Panthers with Cam Newton.
Like, could the Giants be one? Like the.
But
I thought
that team
Jack,
is no good.
Jack asked an interesting question before.
Yeah, what about the Bills? Like they were 4 straight Super Bowls.
Well, yeah. If they're putting in but if you don't win a single Super Bowl,
I think you
they're
have
not
to
gonna
win.
call them a dynasty.
Yeah, you probably have to win.
This is number
I'm trying
7
to
here.
think if there have been any times when teams have like won 2 championships together, knowing that Dolphins team counts.
When the Giants beat the Bills, did they win before after that or no?
When the Giants beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Didn't the Giants win in 86 and then in the 90s again?
It was just once in the 90s.
And then they then they lost to the Ravens in 2000. I think they won. Well, yeah, because then they won 2 with Eli. So they have 4. They won 07, 11.
oh,
I
wait,
think
here's a
86.
question: is there anything pre-Super Bowl?
No, not at this point.
Okay,
Oh, if Packers fans, all those don't matter.
Yeah, right now.
I mean, can you consider the Giants were very good in the 80s to early 90s?
What was there a Raiders team that was?
Didn't they win a couple? They won one in like 86 or 87 and one in 91.
Weren't the Raiders good for some years in like the 70s?
I'm gonna go with
Yeah, I
Ziggy
guess
and the
they were.
Giants.
Wasn't Steelers Raiders like a huge rivalry back in like the 70s?
Yeah, hold on, how many championships did they win during that era?
The Raiders, I don't know. I knew they were good. I know they were good though.
Yeah, sure, let's get. I got nothing better. You want to guess it?
Yeah, Raiders in the 70s.
Yeah,
We guess
that's
like
number 7.
Oh,
Really?
76 to 83 Raiders, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl
I
championships.
got half a brain.
Oh, I mean, guys,
That was
flawless.
Sun Men
That's-
Raiders. Okay.
a flawless run right there. So the
Good
list
stuff,
was
guys.
That's an all-time performance from the Paul Farrington.
Oh yeah,
show.
that was
we
elite right
killed
there.
that there.
The
I appreciate you, Jack and Zach. I never would have gotten those Raiders or
Oh,
Dolphins.
that's good team effort. That's
so
a
the
good team
top
effort.
10 list was the Patriots, the Steelers in the 70s.
You got the Redskins.
Early Packers, Niners in the 80s to mid 90s, Chiefs now, Cowboys 90s, Cowboys in the 70s was also 9. 7 the Raiders that you guys got in the 70s, Commanders or Redskins in the 80s, and the Dolphins in the 70s at 10. That was very well done, guys. Yeah,
Nice.
did a great job. I don't know who else. I think the Bills are someone you had to throw around as being a name, but
If they had
without winning,
one, if they had one, maybe one, you could argue.
You
But
cannot be a dynasty without winning.
Yeah, without winning.
Just
Yeah.
one, maybe.
yeah,
it actually is. Philly. If Philly wins another one, they'll get in that
I
conversation
mean, if
right
Philly
there.
goes
yeah.
and wins this year, are they are they in
They're
there?
technically a dynasty, I guess. But you had to put some weight, I guess, in the undefeated season for the Dolphins.
Game we should play next. What teams haven't won a Super Bowl?
I have that list memorized. We can't play that game.
You know the Vikings could have been that.
I actually don't.
3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Oh, you could definitely do it.
You can't if you.
Oh no! Yeah, again, they can't be a dynasty. But I'm saying like those '70s Vikings could have been.
Blitzburg's in there.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for listening. Yeah, maybe next show we'll just have Jack try and guess if a team has won the Super Bowl or not. I actually think you'd get every single one.
I can get it too.
All right, we'll see you guys for the Thursday show.